Hello, my lovelies. Today, I actually finished Midnight Sun. It took me 2 years. This book came out in 2020, and it took me 2 years to make it through Edward Cullen's mind. Yeah, so without any further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's just talk about this. Roll the intro. Welcome back. Now, for those of you who do not know, Midnight Sun is actually Twilight, but from Edward's point of view. Pardon the glare. This came out in 2020 during the pandemic, and everyone was reading Midnight Sun because they could not get enough of Edward Cullen, and I, quite frankly, could do without this book. Edward Cullen is kind of okay in Twilight. Also, this is the new cover version. This is my paperback. That's why I'm holding this one and not my hardback that has the like regular looking cover on it. Everyone wanted to read this book because they couldn't get enough of Edward, and I think Edward Cullen needs therapy quite seriously. This book was it was so hard to get through. Like I said, it took me 2 damn years to make it through this book. And even then, I wanted to put it up so many times. I did try to read it when it first came out in 2020, but I could not do Edward's mind. Edward is so self-loathing. And I understand he's a vampire. Now, if you're a Twilight fan, don't come for me. I'm also a Twilight fan. Like, this entire bottom shelf is just vampire books. And some of these up here are just vampire books. I'm a huge fan of Twilight. I love Twilight. But you can't ignore some of its issues, okay? I feel like we could have done without Breaking Dawn. I feel like it should have ended as a trilogy. I don't think we needed Breaking Dawn in any capacity unless it's a story of Bella, becoming a vampire, discovering who she is, learning to be independent away from Edward, her thoughts, quit focusing on Edward. But we got what we got, and so we're going to have to deal with it. But in this book, in Midnight Sun, Edward is very self-loathing. He takes what he wants and he does what he wants. And when I was a kid and I first read Twilight, I didn't mind Edward. I understood Edward. I was like, you know what? I don't like myself. Nobody deserves to love me because I'm a horrible person. Love doesn't exist, all that stuff. And now reading it as an adult, I'm like, damn, Edward, please just go see a therapist. This isn't healthy. And, there's this scene, the first scene, if you know Twilight, there's this scene where Bella walks into class, and Edward is sitting there, and then he's just, holding his nose and stuff because he's trying to control his bloodlust. But the extent of how Edward wanted to just murk Bella's entire class just to get to her. Because, he has this entire thought process. I think it was 1 or 2 pages of Edward describing how he was going to go about murking Bella's entire classroom just to get to her. Do I take out the kids in the front so that way they can't run away and scream? Or do I go after the kids in the back and risk the kids in the front running off? Or what if I just take her and deal with the aftermath later? Bruh, are you okay? I understand, in Twilight, Bella is known as Edward's singer, his blood singer, which means that her blood specifically appeals more to Edward than a typical normal human's blood. It's her blood specifically does it for him. It sings for him, is the term. And but there are good things about this book. We get more insight into the Cullens as a family. Esme is a dear. I love Esme so much. She's such a sweetheart. Every time I was hearing Esme's thoughts, I was listening to Esme, I was like, she is such a good mom. I love Esme. But Edward is so much of a problem. And not only that, but he understands. There's this whole, like, subplot of Alice keeps showing Edward, this is what's gonna happen to Bella. She's going to be one of us someday. And you know she wants to. And he keeps seeing her vision of Bella as a vampire with her arm around Alice, and Alice has her arm around her. And he's very controlling, like right from the start. He's already telling Alice when Alice is like, well, can I introduce myself to her? We're going to be friends one day anyway, Edward. And he's like, no, you can wait until I tell you or I tolerate you introducing yourself to Bella. Like, doesn't Bella have a choice in this? Like, and he always sees her as like this frail little creature that, like, he knows that he's dangerous and he just doesn't care. At first he cares and he's like, well, what if I run away? And she's like Alice is showing him in his mind, because he can read minds. He's reading her mind and seeing her vision of Bella, what happens to Bella in New Moon, you know, with Bella being depressed, can't go on without Edward now that she knows him. You know, her sitting in a chair, her cheeks are hollow, she's depressed, she's upset, she can't do anything anymore. And, but yet he constantly disregards this and is like, that's never gonna happen. And if it happens, at least she's alive. At least she's still a human. Like, what about Bella's choice in this? Again. Now, I was never Team Edward or Team Jacob. I was Team Bella all the way. I was Team Bella, make your own decisions. Bella, please be a strong, independent girl. Because actually, Bella in the books is really intelligent. She reads classics. She loves to read. She views everything so practically. And I liked Bella in the books better than movie Bella, although Kristen Stewart, I don't blame Kristen Stewart for the way that she portrayed Bella. She did the best that she could, because Bella is very anxious. Bella is very cautious. Bella is very clumsy. And she's always kind of second-guessing herself. And Edward kind of asserts this, is like, I know what's best for you, Bella. I know better than you. I've lived longer than you, kind of stuff. And he doesn't regard Bella's decisions and things. He's just like, no. He constantly underestimates her. Like, the scene where Bella is about to be, you know, attacked by those men in the alleyway. He has this moment where she's telling him, oh, I plan to beat them up. I planned to hit the one guy up the nose and put his nose into his brain. And he's laughing and is like, oh, Bella, you could never do that. Like, what if she could, Edward? She wants to try to take those guys down because she knows she can't run. She knows she can't run, so she's going to try to fight her way out. You should admire her bravery for wanting to just murk some people. Or the scene where he tells her that she's utterly indecent when they're on their way to meet Edward's parents, the Cullen family. He tells her that she's utterly indecent in a blue turtleneck. I don't know how that's indecent. She's in a blue turtleneck. It's just, there's so many things about this book I didn't like, but there are things, again, I did like. I liked being able to see the Cullen family from Edward's point of view. You know, getting to know more about the Cullens. And this has always been kind of my thing about Twilight, is a lot of the background characters, we know just enough about their backstory to be super interested in them. Where Edward and Bella kind of don't have those interesting backstories, you know. Bella has that, you know, neglectful mother. She has Charlie. Edward was a victim of the Spanish flu in the 1920s or early 1910s. But all the other background characters in the world of this series are just so much more interesting to me. Alice doesn't know who turned her. She was in an asylum because she was already seeing visions as a human. And there's Esme, who tried to take her own life, and Carlisle saved her. The whole backstory of Emmett and Rosalie. Rosalie went through it, and everyone calls Rosalie a bee. Rosalie went through it, okay? Rosalie had, the high pressures of her time coming up on her. She had to, keep appearances. She was ganged up on in the street. She was harmed, even by the guy that she was going to marry. So she went on a revenge trip and just utterly murdered them all. And she still struggles with the fact that she didn't have a choice in being a vampire. This is something that she struggles with. The Volturi have interesting backstories. The world is really interesting. But I've never found the romance that appealing in these books. And seeing things from Edward's point of view was interesting to kind of understand more about that side. But the way he treats Bella, and like he just chuckles when he's also kind of nervous when he like admits to her that he's been watching her sleep. And then he just kind of chuckles about it. Like, he understands that he's creepy when he does that, but he just brushes it off. You understand it's creepy, but you went and did it anyways. Why? I found myself laughing at stuff like that. It's like he understands what he's doing is wrong to Bella, but he just doesn't care. Therapy. Go to therapy. I think that's just the long and short of it of this book is just Edward Cullen. Please seek a therapist. Is there a vampire therapist in which you can go to? Please go see them because you need it. This book was just full of angst, full of self-loathing. The lore bits were interesting. I did like them aspects. I liked listening to the Cullen's thoughts through the process of the first Twilight. That part really had me in for the rest of it because that's the only way I could get through Edward's angst and self-loathing and the choices he makes. So I'm not here for Edward himself. I was there for everyone else but Edward. That's the only way I can really sum up this book is pay attention to the rest of it, but not Edward himself, because Edward himself is kind of annoying. I'm sorry for all the Team Edward fans out there, but I'm sorry. But yeah, Edward kind of has some issues. And I did like the lore aspects, the world aspect. Also, there's this one little mini theory I have is that Bella might be descended from a vampire because if you don't know, Bella has her gift already kind of enacted because she's a shield, which means that vampires can't register their powers. They can't inflict her with their powers. Like Edward can't read her mind, or Aro can't read her mind, and vice, and on and on and on. But Charlie, when he's reading Charlie's thoughts, they're murky. He's only getting surface thoughts, and everything is blocked out to him. Which is interesting, because he also has these moments, Edward has these moments where he's asking himself if Bella is even entirely human. He keeps calling her, like, his own personal demon sent from hell. Or, is she entirely human? Or, like, he just keeps implying that Bella isn't fully human, and he wonders about that, and I'm like, is Bella a descendant of a vampire or something? That would have been an interesting plot hook. Just saying, I think that would have been an interesting plot hook. But, yeah. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably going to give Midnight Sun a 7. Because I was here for Alice, I was here for the Cullens, I was here for all the good little mind-reading bits. But Edward himself is kind of insufferable at times. I'm sorry if I'm roasting Edward so hard, but, like, he can be kind of insufferable with all the self-loathing and angst. Yeah, I'm probably going to give this a 7. I don't feel comfortable giving it more than that, but there was enough things in it to make me give it a 7 and not a lower score. because I only had like one problem with the book, and it was Edward kind of himself. But seeing through his eyes was kind of interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. So, yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. If you feel like it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button maybe for shits and gigs. I don't just talk about books, I also talk about anime, TV shows, pop culture news, pop culture drama, anything I find interesting really. That's why the name is The Random Show, for a reason. It's random on this corner of the internet. So yeah, also, if you guys made it this far, I'm gonna probably do a question on these book videos. What team were you? What team were you? And I don't just mean Team Edward or Team Jacob, and if you were, that's fine. Everyone can have an opinion. But don't fight about it in the comments. I've seen enough girls fighting in middle school over Edward and Jacob. So if you're Team Edward, tell me why. If you're Team Jacob, tell me why. If you're Team Alice, Rosalie, Jasper, anyone. Emmett even. I loved Emmett. I loved Emmett in this book also. He was fucking hilarious. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts about everything. And what your favorite part of Twilight is. So, yeah. I love you all, and I hope you have a great day. Happy reading.